Hello and welcome back to the Auto Loons channel. We're back with some more Hot Wheels diecast reviews. Now these are you could say extra special because they are some of the oldest Hot Wheels I have, and these are well played with. Like I had these when I was 4 or 5 year old myself. So these are all well played with, well worn, and missing most importantly missing their rear wings, because back then these are just dinky cars that would be put away or manhandled or dropped, and broken pieces, small plastics, wouldn't be of too much consequence. But let's introduce the two cars we have today. Both these models are from Hot Wheels 1999 first edition castings. The first one here is the Porsche 911 GT1 98, and this is the Mercedes Clk Lm. Now both these cars have a huge significance from a racing and motorsport perspective. They were both designed to compete in endurance racing and the GT racing tournaments, GT racing series. We're going to start off first. Now I'm going to put a photo up here of what it's supposed to look like with the wing. And you can notice it has survived in various ways in terms of the decals, but obviously the glass and various aspects of it have yellowed. The axles are the wheels are quite worn out, but still in decent nick, considering I didn't value them any more than just my regular Hot Wheels to be just cool looking cars. As a kid I wasn't that much engrossed or interested in all kinds of motorsports, especially the ones that were not broadcast on local television, that was shown here. So the 911 GT1 98 is kind of like a special car, because this was developed specifically for racing in the 1998 GT season to take on that car right there and the McLaren, who would dominate that who were dominating the series at that point in time. So Porsche built this GT1 specifically to take them on. Unfortunately, it used a twin turbo engine, which wasn't really suited for the new regulations, which restricted airflow. So in that year's FIA International GT season, the Porsche 991 GT1 really struggled to perform as intended. However, it stole the show at the 1998 Le Mans. The twin turbo 3.2 liter flat six engine was able to use its full potential, and it won. This is the winner of the 1998 24 Hours of Le Mans, which beat the Mercedes Clk Lm, the BMW V12, and the much faster Toyota GT1, and it beat them by being reliable. All the other cars retired from mechanical problems, not this one. In fact, the Porsche 911 GT1 98s took first and second overall at the Le Mans that year, which gave Porsche the record-breaking 16th overall Le Mans victory. The following year, the rules were changed once again, and Porsche decided to focus on a different aspect. Of course, as per the regulations of that time, that these cars had to be built and homologated, so there had to be street legal versions as well. So the Hot Wheels versions are supposedly built on the street legal versions, but the aero package on these cars is way more similar to the race car than the road car version. So you can see the detailing, what has survived, is pretty decent still. The louvres on the front arches, the hood scoop, the centrally located, centrally mounted windshield wiper, a common race car trait, the low right. I mean, I wish I had kept the wing as well, but some things just don't happen. You can see these little ducts here, which were also used for cooling and downforce as well, and it's just the shape and design of this absolute beast. I'm sure on a more level playing field it would have had more success. speaking of success, we move on to the Mercedes Clk Lm. Now this is one of the coolest cars Mercedes has ever made. Okay, this is the one that they homologated to race at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, and only 26 units were produced or were commissioned to be made road legal, so that Mercedes could race this version in endurance racing. So the Hot Wheels version is supposed to be built or based on the road legal version, but it has all the characteristics of the track version, with these louvres, the lowered front and rear end, like how low it is even in terms of the design of this Hot Wheels design, the scoop, the vents back here. I mean, a lot of extra aero details on this, which were seen more on the track car than the road legal Clk Lms. And what makes this one particularly special is that this was a successor to the Clk GTR, and Mercedes had upgraded the engine, the powertrain, to a 5-liter naturally aspirated V8, which made it really fast, but it was plagued with reliability problems, and that's why it lost the 1998 Le Mans to this car right here. The engine itself, the 5-liter V8, was very good for the GT series that year, which is where it beat this car, and I think it won almost every race after they changed to the 5-liter V8, because that had that particular power unit was putting out like 600 brake horsepower and was able to do 205 miles per hour. In fact, it achieved that top speed at the 98 Le Mans. So it's an insane kit of that era. They're both icons of that particular year of motorsports. Rivals, this one built to take down this one in the GT Racing series of 98 did not succeed. The LM did. They won the championship, they won the most races, they dominated the season once they had the 5-liter V8, which was much quicker. Unfortunately, the reliability issues meant that this did not finish, like this DNF'd at 24 Hours of Le Mans, which is where this triumphed over all the quicker rivals to take the crown. So interesting history between both of these. I wish I'd taken better care of them looking back, but I'm glad I still kept them in whatever condition I have, and I treasure them even more now. Now I have another model from the 1999 first edition batch series, and it's this. It's hard to miss it. Any petrolhead would recognize this as the Ford GT40. It has a nice metallic blue paint finish, but age and poor care as a kid who played with them, washed them, so to speak, and didn't really dry them properly, has kind of messed with it, but you can still see the nice finish on the areas which are not that affected by rust. Now it's from a different, it predates, like the real life, the GT40 predates both these two cars, but it also has a huge significance in Le Mans and endurance racing. This is built on the Mark II model, which was the one that which is the version of the GT40 that won the 1966 24 Hours Le Mans 1, 2 and 3. So this was Ford's winning GT40, the one that finally ended Ferrari's win streak at Le Mans. So the difference between this and the Mark I GT40 were some design changes to make it more aerodynamic. It was redesigned by Carroll Shelby, but it was still built on the same British chassis, I think from Lola. The biggest upgrade was the engine. Instead of the 4.2 V8, Ford fitted a 7-liter V8 back here. Again, from different era, but from the same it's a batch of Hot Wheels design casting. So this is all from the 1999 first edition Hot Wheels. Mercedes Clk Lm Porsche 911 GT1 98, and a 1966 Ford GT Mark II. These cars have always been special to me, but now that I know the stories, the background of the cars that they're based on, especially in motorsports, these are even more special to me, and I value them so much more in my collection. Which race car do you treasure, or you have a special connection with, or do you admire in terms of its significance in motor racing history or a brand's history? Let me know in the comments below. Hope you enjoyed the video. Give it a like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe for plenty more to come.